And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media, always providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, and estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage with you so that we can help you in our number one goal, which is to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline. Call or text any questions, comments, concerns. We had a lot of uptick in calls lately. We really appreciate you reaching out. And to our on-air or off-air line is 670-7372. And, of course, bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, their contact information. You can also submit an email form. Now, that email form is going to come through directly through my team, and we're going to make sure we get back to you before our head hits the pillow. We got a big event coming up. We want you to save the date. This is going to be the 27th. It's Thursday, June 27th. Speed networking. Now, a lot of times when you go to these parties and events, you don't get to meet everybody in the room. That's going to be different at our event. It's Tampa Bay's largest speed networking event, 2.0. Verizon Event Center on Thursday, the 27th. Save that date, 6 p.m. at East Bay Drive in Largo. It's the Verizon Event Center. It's going to be a great time. Catered food from Amici's Catered Cuisine. We've got a lot of our expert contributors, radio show partners, real estate team. A lot of folks are going to be there. Probably a couple hundred people in attendance. It's going to be a great time. We want to see you there. Now, this is Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me today. Back in studio, my man Scott Kepler, Mortgage Approval Group. Welcome back.
Thanks, Brandon. Always great to be here. I'm a local mortgage broker here in Tampa. Been in the business for about 20 years and have a team of great people that would love to help out the homeowners that are out there looking to refinance, or, of course, any of those renters that are looking to purchase.
Yeah.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, big time opportunities right now. We had the rates take a dip recently.
Absolutely.
A couple year low now, aren't we?
They are down about 25%.
Wow.
Of what they were about 2 years ago.
That's awesome.
So that's, we don't like to quote rates when we're on the air, but they're 25% lower than they were about 2 years ago. So, kind of keep that in mind. If you're at 5, take a quarter off of that, and that's probably about where we could put you.
Yeah. Good stuff. Really good stuff there. We got Chris Colbassini making his debut as well. Chris, welcome in.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Great to be here. As Brandon said, my name is Chris Colbassini. I'm a Keller Williams agent with the Platinum MVP team. Very excited to be joining the team and getting some business and helping people find their dream homes.
That's right. Helping the buyers out there and doing a lot of good networking in the community. And it's a great opportunity right now. There's such a, the spring selling season, everything's coming together. Mortgage rates took a dip, so we're expecting a big uptick, and we're setting records with the Platinum MVP team as well.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And rounding out our expert contributor panel, attorney Frank Miranda, that is, in studio.
Brandon, thanks for inviting me back in. And Scott, I just want to say, if I do my math correctly, you're about 4.75, give or take?
No, not a quarter percent. A quarter percent of 5 minus a quarter of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Well, Frank, thanks for having me back on the radio. And my firm provides litigation services for businesses, real estate issues, and personal injury, wrongful death cases. And we also focus on doing title closings and helping people through what can be a minefield and very expensive endeavor if they don't do it right. So we're fortunate enough to have an office centrally located in Tampa, between West Shore and West Shore and downtown. And so we'll close anywhere. We have people across the state. So we're happy to provide services to your listeners.
Very cool. Yeah, and one of those attorneys that actually goes to court and litigates, correct?
Was there this morning. just set a case for trial.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, because it's it's one of those things where sometimes people also they want to back out of these real estate deals. They think they can renegotiate the contract at the table, and that doesn't happen a whole lot in your.
Doesn't happen in my office.
In your office, right?
No,
Yeah.
I make it clear to them that we kind of treat this like the old school ground. So if you come here, you want to walk away with your ball, doesn't happen. So if you agree to certain terms, we're going to make sure you do it.
Yep.
And again, I think I've mentioned this before to your listeners that when someone does you wrong, you don't necessarily have to get upset. You just have to make sure that you force them to comply with the terms of the agreement. And
that's right.
We make sure we hold their feet to the fire.
That's right.
And so I can tell you from example, I know people that have just recently opened title insurance companies and whatnot, and they may have a license, but I can assure you that they're not as qualified as we are to handle a situation like that.
Right.
They're not as qualified to clear up a title issue on a property you want to buy or sell, which is important because you can't do that transaction without an underwriter agreeing to do the title insurance. So that's all technicalities that most people just let slide because they don't really know what's going on. But at the end of the day, we make sure everything is, the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the way it's got to be, especially when you're looking at real estate closings and transactions. So many people have committed so many resources and time and effort and energy into making those deals happen. So Frank Charles Miranda, his office right here in Tampa as well. So we got an all-star lineup for you today here. This segment is brought to you by the Lucky Dill Restaurant, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, the Lucky Dill Restaurant. And they got a deli, they got a New York City bar, a Brooklyn bakery, catering. They do banquets as well. And it's home of the sandwich that ate Brooklyn. They've got some great food in there. It's much more than just sandwiches as well. They've got great entrees, salads, soups, all kinds of good stuff at the Lucky Dill. Now, 2 locations here in Tampa Bay. They've got one on Boy Scout Boulevard in Tampa, LuckyDillDeli.com, as well as Palm Harbor on US 19. Reach out to the Lucky Dill. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, and they're going to hook you up every time with a free water with lemon every time you go in. They're going to take care of you, Chris. Yeah, you ever eat there, man?
That's
good stuff.
A number of times.
Yeah.
Great food.
Good stuff. So as you know, I'm the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. A couple of hot listings here. I want to let you know about this one. This is a great opportunity for the boater. Bring your boat to 4449 Marine Parkway, Newport Richey. This is a great opportunity to have that boating lifestyle, that Florida lifestyle that we are afforded here in the Tampa Bay area. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, waterfront townhome in a great area in that Gulf Harbors area, just off of US 19. Close proximity to a lot of shopping and everything. So gorgeous drone photography, compliments of Fabre Frameworks. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com for all of our real estate listings. All right, let's jump right into it. We got Scott Kepler in the house, decades of mortgage experience and real estate experience, and local lender supporting, again, the local economy. That's the main key to our show. It's making sure that we support the local community, Scott. And right now, with the dip in the rates, I'm sure you're seeing an uptick in mortgage applications, and I'm hoping that we're pulling a lot of those renters out of that renting scenario into home ownership.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got a lot of the rent versus own inquiries.
Yes.
And, we try to, help as many of them as we can to realize the options that they have and discuss those with them and then put together a plan if they're, needing to do a little bit of work on credit or savings or, coming up with the down payment. We try to assist with, setting out that plan. But we've had a lot of people really reaching out and taking advantage because they thought that they were paying a lot in rent, but they weren't sure how much they could actually buy in house, and they were really surprised to find out. When you're financing over a 30-year time frame, you have the ability to, have a pretty decent purchase price versus the amount that you're paying in rent. So I think that's been a big thing, coupled with the interest rates obviously being low. But to that point, I really want to shout out to the actual homeowners that are out there that have purchased a home in the last, 2 to 5 years, especially. Their interest rate's a lot higher than what it probably should be. At the same time, they're probably paying mortgage insurance they may be able to get rid of. So if they're interested in trying to save some money, now would be the ideal time with interest rates where they're at.
Yeah.
Because they've dropped so much. Like I said, we were, kind of joking about with the math, but, a 25% drop in the interest rate,
Yeah.
is pretty significant from what it was 2 years ago.
Yep.
When it was hovering in the mid fives, low to mid fives.
Yep.
We're talking the, published rate by, Freddie Mac. So a lot of times that means that's even a little bit higher because, you get somebody with a lower than 20% down payment, that interest rate that's published by Freddie Mac is actually different than what you'll get.
Right.
So it may even be higher than that.
Well, that's a good point, because a lot of times if you just look through the papers or online, people are going to be putting that best scenario out there, right? So it may not be the actual rate that you get because there's so many factors that go into it. The credit, the income, the assets, the different, the collateral type really matters in some cases. Is it a condo? Is it non-warrantable or not? Those scenarios play out. But that's a good point when it comes to looking at what's published in a lot of different places, whether it's online or offline. You got to really be careful and read the fine details.
Absolutely, and of course, the Freddie Mac is probably the most consistent for interest rates because they take a average over 200 different retail lenders and brokers that are out there, and that's how they come up with that rate. But
Right.
they do it on a consistent 80% LTV, and I don't recall the exact loan amounts, but but it's also nationwide, and the rates can vary from state to state as well.
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind. And like you said, property types, and so I would say that it was kind of a best case scenario of what they're throwing out there as the average rate.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always equate to what you're actually going to be paying.
Right. Yeah, and really, and we'll talk about it as well when we come back. There's down payment assistance. There's other options. There's ways that you can pay the mortgage off faster. So especially for renters out there, if you're still renting, we want you to reach out to our hotline. We would love to put you in contact with Scott and his team and help you understand how you can build wealth, build a legacy for your family just by reaching out to the Consumer Quarterback Show. So when we come back, more from our expert contributors here in studio. Scott Kepler's in the house, Chris Colbassini, and attorney Frank Miranda here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your negotiations with real estate, buying, selling, or investing. We would love to talk to you. Check out PlatinumMVPteam.com. Got a hot listing in Odessa, Florida. I want to let you know about this one. We just did a price reduction at 12610 Port Marnock Drive in Odessa. This is a lovely home. It's just got a gorgeous layout and a nice floor plan. This one is in the Turnberry at the Eagles. The home sits on one of the best lots in the Eagles because you got water views on the front and back, and it's just a great opportunity to purchase real estate here in Tampa Bay. Pool and spa, just a great opportunity on the golf course. If you are a golfer or just love the landscapes, this is a great opportunity. 12610 Port Marnock Drive in Odessa. Check out all of our listings at PlatinumMVPteam.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And this segment is brought to you by the Bilmar Beach Resort on beautiful Gulf Boulevard in Treasure Island. And it's filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. The Bilmar Beach Resort is one of the most sought-after destinations in the Tampa Bay area for many years. It's a great place to go hang out. They've got 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Restaurant and Beach Bar. And Clyde Smith, the general manager, calls it a 2-beer beach. It takes you 2 beers to walk from the hotel all the way down to the beach. And they actually donated a gift for our speed networking event. We're having a raffle at this Tampa Bay's largest speed networking event that they've donated a gift for a weekend stay at the Bilmar, which we're going to be raffling off at this Tampa Bay's largest speed networking event on the 27th. We're going to be auctioning that off, raising money for Children's Cancer Center. So it's a great opportunity to come out and party with a purpose for our Tampa Bay's largest speed networking event on the 27th at the Verizon Center in Largo. Networking, catered food, DJ, bartenders, lots of fun. It's going to be a great time at our event coming up. All right, so we got in studio here, we got Scott Kepler, Mortgage Approval Group. We were talking a little bit between the break, and he's seen a really strong uptick in the refinance opportunities and some really strategy. We love talking strategy here on the Business Network. So tell us what the strategy is right now. What are you seeing?
Sure. I've got a lot of clients that have reached out to me in reference to taking their 30-year mortgage. Of course, this is an idea that we present them with. We give them different options depending on what their situation is. But we've seen a lot of people who have bought in the last 2 to 5 years that have a higher interest rate than they should. Yeah. In addition to that, they've built equity, so they shouldn't have mortgage insurance either. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're taking that 30-year payment where it has mortgage insurance and the high interest rate, reducing it down to a 20-year term.
Nice.
Getting rid of the mortgage insurance, but because you've downgraded your term to a shorter term, the payment goes up a little bit. So they're keeping the same payment and dropping 8, 9, 10 years, or 7, 8, 9 years off, essentially.
Yeah.
Off of their term, and keeping the same monthly mortgage payment that they have now.
Wow.
And that saves hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases.
Very nice.
So that is very nice.
Yeah, saving lots of money, lots of thousands of dollars there. So you take a look at, staying in tune with the market. Even though there's all this geopolitical stuff, you got the trade war talks, you got stuff going on in Mexico now. Yeah, with all this stuff going on, what you should be thinking about is, how does this affect me and my wallet?
Right.
How does it affect my family?
Right.
So reaching out to Scott with Mortgage Approval Group, that's a way that you can really use this to help you benefit.
Absolutely.
Save a lot of money.
And it doesn't cost you anything to see what your options are.
That's right.
So we'll be happy to, run through the options, spell them out, whether the top 3 things people are doing now is reducing their term.
Yep.
Or they're going from a FHA loan to a conventional loan and getting rid of mortgage insurance and, saving themselves some money in that way.
Yep.
Or they're doing some debt consolidation and kind of cleaning up their situation that maybe they've gotten themselves into. Unintentionally.
Yeah, that PMI does nothing for the buyer itself. Right. It's protecting the lender. You got to get rid of it. Good stuff. Scott Kepler, Mortgage Approval Group, scottkepler.com. All right, Chris Colbassini, KW Real Estate, Keller Williams agent here in Tampa Bay. So tell us, why are you passionate about real estate, Chris? What do you like about real estate?
Well, I moved on here about 4.5 years ago from Connecticut, and because most of my family's here, as you know.
Yeah.
And, I came down kind of to help out my dad and my sister. And excuse me. And I was working at Publix, and I decided I was looking around, and I saw how hot the real estate market was.
Yep.
And I said, that might be something I want to look into. So obviously I went to the classes, and I got my license, and I actually just I just sold a luxury listing in Dunedin.
Yeah, hot market.
Yeah, it was $750,000 property.
Nice.
And it took a little time, but those things usually about 3 months we had it under contract.
Higher end properties do take longer.
Yeah, and 3 months we had it under contract.
Nice.
I look forward to working with the team.
Yep.
We got a lot of great listings. Matter of fact,
right.
I'll be doing an open house at one down in Dunedin this Saturday from 12 to 3.
Yeah, which one is that? Lyndhurst?
260 Lyndhurst, right off Edgewater, right across from the water. It's a beautiful house.
Close to the Bilmar.
Right,
right. Not the Bilmar, the
Ferrymore. And the Fenway's.
Fenmore. Yeah.
The Fenway's right on the corner.
That's right.
On the corner. It's a 5-bed, 3.5 beds. A beautiful home.
Yes.
A lot of potential with an apartment over the garage.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be doing an open house there on Saturday. And, again, Connecticut's having their issues.
Yeah.
And, I see friends on social media all the time complaining about it. I said, well, come on down. I says, I'll find you a house.
Sunny in 75.
I know, right?
Or rainy in 75 lately.
But that's all right. That's all good.
Yeah.
And I says, give me a call. I says, I'll be glad to help you out. And, we have, Keller Williams, as you know, we have the ability through our Kelly app to send snapshots of different neighborhoods and such, and it's
That's right.
and insights. It's a really great tool to have.
Yeah.
And people really appreciate it. I've been sending those out occasionally.
Yes.
And I tell them, if you want to see, and I'll send them to them, up there too. But, I actually just referred a friend of mine. He's going to be moving over to Ocala.
Okay.
So I just referred him over there to an agent over there.
Nice.
And I have a friend of mine. Well, he bought a piece of land over in Punta Gorda. He's going to be moving down next year and building a house.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just working it, and I was on the phone this morning for a couple of hours talking to people, and people just different parts of the country. I mean, like I said, especially Connecticut, they're going through a real rough patch right now. They just institute a whole lot of taxes up there.
Oh man.
It's crazy. I mean, so I tell people, I call my buddies all the time, friends, and say, I can get you a really good deal down. I mean, the real estate market is hot down here.
Yeah.
And I tell them that, that the real estate market.
It's hot to a point where it's not where it's like bubbled up, like it's overpriced, like you're overpaying, right? I mean, so you think about it, like you mentioned, Connecticut, a state like Connecticut, or even New York, right? You got a state income tax. They're taxing you for if you buy a 44-ounce soda, you're getting you can't buy
sugar tax.
There's all these things, right?
Right.
So now you come down here, you're living in the Sunshine State. You got no state income tax. You have the ability to purchase real estate at really just affordable prices still.
Absolutely, yeah. It is. It really is. I mean, you can get a nice house, it will cost you up there, what will cost you like $300,000 up there, you can get for $180 down here.
Yes.
And you could be near the water, you could be near all sorts of shopping, and
that's right.
Because I mean, we have all sorts of, we have shopping we have shopping areas everywhere down here, as you know.
Yeah.
Going up 19, I mean, there's no shortage of places to shop here. That's for sure.
That's right.
And I mean, there's medical offices everywhere. I mean, business complexes everywhere. So I mean, and everything, no matter where you live down here, everything's pretty well centrally located.
Yeah, you're close to a lot.
Yeah, you're not really far from too much,
That's right. We're talking with Chris Colbassini, Keller Williams agent here in Tampa Bay. He's with the Platinum MVP team that my wife Lindsay and I own and operate. Now, Chris, you mentioned that Dunedin listing, 260 Lyndhurst, Dunedin, open house this Saturday.
Yes, 12 to 3, yes.
12 to 3. Go check out Chris. Say hello to him now. And this brings up another point, is that, you've got the main living area. You've got a beautiful pool there as well, but then you've got that extra unit up front. So we're checking into details. Some areas you can do, and this is something we're out to bring Frank in and talk about too next segment, where some of the municipalities are saying, oh, well, you can't do an Airbnb here. You have minimal rental periods. There's even municipalities like Gulfport that I've got a duplex with an extra unit. You can't live in that third unit. You can only use it as a true guest house if a weekend guest coming in. But it's interesting when you look at that Airbnb opportunity and some of these real estate opportunities.
Right, and I think Dunedin, I'm not sure. I think they might have an Airbnb, but it's very limited.
Got to be careful.
You got to be very careful. You got to check. Anybody who's considering that, I would check with the local municipality to find out what their regulations are in regards to that.
Yeah.
Because it could be a hot button issue.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I've talked to that are, they're getting rid of their second job and they're strictly buying these Airbnbs and they're turning them, flipping them, they're cleaning them out themselves, kind of utilizing it as a second job now. And because if you can get some good turnover on the weekends, especially with all that Tampa has to offer with the sports events and, we got the Super Bowl coming in a couple of years, all these things, it's a great opportunity here in Tampa Bay.
And you're close to everything. You're close to Trop Field. You're close to Emily Arena.
Yep.
Ray J Stadium, which is right down the road.
The beautiful beaches.
The beaches, anywhere up towards the north of Pinellas County, you're only about 20 minutes from Clearwater Beach.
That's right.
St. Pete Beach, Treasure Island, Indian Shores.
Whatever you want to do here in Tampa Bay, man.
You got
it's
it.
all
Tampa,
here.
Tampa Bay's a hot market.
All right, stay with us right here. When we come back, more from our expert contributors, attorney Frank Miranda as well here in the house. And here's a good story for you in our Feel Good. Businessman is donating 10,000 bikes to kids who walk miles to school. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterbacks Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to ConsumerQB.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at ConsumerQB.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in any marketplace. That's our number one goal. We want to educate, entertain, enlighten, and that's why we bring in all of our contributors. We have the contributors that come on the show and talk about consumer advocate ideas, things to do, things to avoid, how to avoid a lot of the commission-based advice that's so prevalent in our community. We want to help you with that, and we've been on air almost 6 years now, helping you win through our unique strategies here. This segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want you reaching out to Brothers Easy Moving, and I can tell you from firsthand experience that they are a first-class organization. They do a great job from the ownership down, Gary Thacker and his team, Brothers Easy Moving. They do a great job, and they're one of the best reviewed movers in all of Tampa Bay. 4.6 on Google, 4.5 on Yelp, A rating from the Better Business Bureau, A rating on Angie's List, and they have also won the Super Service Award multiple times. Reach out to Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we got attorney Frank Miranda in the house. Let's jump right into it, Frank. I love, when we have the attorneys on the show, it's neat. A lot of times we're talking about updates to certain laws, specific changes that they've seen. And something I wanted to bring up is the municipalities. A lot of times these municipalities have some control over the residents. And in a situation where a residential property, one might think, oh, well, we can buy this home, we can rent it out, we can do what we want with it, maybe Airbnb it on the weekends if it's a second home or investment. But that's not the case. You got to be careful with your municipalities, right?
Well, not only municipalities, even homeowners associations and condo associations. So, the issue when you have those people looking over your shoulder is if someone calls foul and they say, hey, look, you can't use that piece of property for what you intended it to be. Mm-hmm. The reality situation turns out to be, well, how much money do you have? Because it takes money to fight these people. And, regardless of whether you're right or wrong, at the end of the day, if you've spent all your funds in acquiring this property, you have no reserve, and then they come back after you, and you have no one sticking up for you, they can really put a lot of hurt on you by putting liens on your property.
Wow.
Okay, so you got to be really careful. So if that's what you want to do, if that's your niche, and I don't know how many people are into that niche, but I know it's a growing fad. Mm-hmm. If that's what you want to do and that's your business model and you can make money at it, I know you can. But the question is, I would recommend not only contacting someone at the city, the municipality, you got to contact the right person. So I'd actually get an opinion letter from that municipality's attorney's office, general counsel's office, as to what you can do there. So you're talking about zoning issues. You're also talking potentially condo associations who have a lot of power because the rules are and the statutes are all written in their favor for the most part. And then you have the homeowners associations that are the same kind of concept. So if you're going to do that, it's a great business model, but you better make sure that you really, really look out after what your best interest is.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I like that idea of getting an opinion letter. So that's simply where you're asking that municipality to have their attorney put it in writing.
Absolutely. So it'd be, if it's a city, you'd ask the city attorney. If it's a county, there's a county attorney. See if they'll put it in writing. If they put it in writing, then you have an argument later if they come back to a contrary position that they've waived their right. But it's a situation where you need to take it extremely seriously, because if you invest everything in this project and they want to shut you down, you can expect to get serious attorney's fees on that, because that's a situation where you may have to try the case. And to try a case, unfortunately, it takes funds to hire lawyers and to do that. So be very careful before you jump in that swimming pool.
Yeah, I would. Especially in some places are known for having Airbnbs more so than others. You just got to find the right place, especially if it's it's an unincorporated area, part of this county versus part of the city. Being careful about that when you're doing your due diligence.
Well, if other people are doing it, you do have a defense that the municipality is allowing other people to do it. Therefore, if they pick on you, it's called selective enforcement, and that's not constitutional if it's a governmental agency. Or you can even make that a defense against a condo association or even a homeowner association. Now, the thing about the law is just because you have a defense on paper doesn't mean necessarily that defense carries the day.
Right.
I tell everybody that every case has, like a river, kind of charts its own course. So those are defenses you have. Doesn't mean necessarily win on those defenses. But if you look around and there's others around you and they're not being prosecuted by or sued by a city, or they're not being prosecuted or sued by condo association or homeowner association, that is one criteria to say this might be a good location and go ahead and make that investment.
Right. And if you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes here. We're talking with attorney Frank Miranda. Frank Charles Miranda is his company, and he does real estate closings, personal injury law, wrongful death, title. There's a lot of ways that he can help you here. Great location right on Cypress Street in Tampa. And Frank, when it comes to the real estate side, what have you seen in the real estate market lately? Have you seen an uptick? Have you seen things, it seems like the rates are dropping, things are looking good, title closings, we talked in previous shows about some of these discounters coming in and pulling money out of the Bay Area. That's one of the things that really frustrates me.
Yeah, so what you're referring to are the companies that advertise for a listing, and they either advertise there's no commissions going on, or they're going to pick up all the title, or they're going to pick up all the closing costs. That's all a farce, and the reason why it's in my opinion, a misrepresentation of what's really going on, because you either end up getting an extremely high back-end fee that somehow they don't call a commission.
Yeah.
And I think we've gone through examples in the past where you end up paying more than 6%, which is what a qualified realtor would be. Mm-hmm. And then they select their own title company, which at that point in time they increase the closing charges by what I would probably say is an unreasonable amount, mm-hmm. or an amount that you wouldn't pay otherwise. And so at the end of the day, when you calculate everything out, you're not saving any money, and you don't have the benefit of knowing who's going inside your house and outside your house. Mm-hmm. You don't have the benefit negotiating with your local realtor who doesn't even know the area. So I think there's a lot of question marks, and I personally wouldn't use one of those companies.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of question marks out there as to why someone would come in from a different area promising you the world, because the old adage is, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Right.
And so I think you deal with people that are local, that people have to account for their reputation locally.
That's right.
And if you have a great local reputation, fortunately everyone here does, then I think that's definitely a consideration that goes a long way. The fact that Scott was talking earlier about the interest rates and how low they are, I mean, I can't think of numerous occasions where people are outgrowing their house.
Right.
So now, since the interest rate is lower, you can get a much bigger house at a bigger price.
Yeah. Okay,
and your payment's not really going up.
Yeah, that's true.
So upgrading at this point in time is to me, a no-brainer. And then, the example Scott gave about, you cut a deal the first time for a piece of property and you agreed to borrow X amount on that money at X interest rate, and now you can reduce that mm-hmm. by a lower interest rate and put money in your pocket. What a better deal. Yeah. So that seems like a no-brainer to me either, or me too. But the phone should be ringing off the hook for you, Scott, to be honest with you.
It has been.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's great.
It can ring some more, though.
Well, the issue is this, too.
Make it ring.
I mean, Brandon made the point, too, like how does the embargo with Mexico affect you today? Well, the situation is this. Whatever happens internationally, if the stock market does a tick, it reacts negatively to something, mm-hmm. interest rates go up before you know it, you've missed your window of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, there's a lot of things we can't control out there.
Yep.
And the economy is one of them as an individual.
Yes.
And so, God forbid something bad happens in North Korea. God forbid something happens with us in Russia. God forbid, yep. Mexico has an uproar and all of a sudden there's this tax war, and China has a tax tariff war with us.
Mm-hmm.
We can't affect that. If that happens tomorrow, interest rates are not going to stay where they're at.
Right.
So you have a window of opportunity. So if you're a procrastinator, you got to get off and at least make the inquiry now, because you're going to miss a window of opportunity that could save you tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's so much opportunity today. And when you look at potential threats, right? So that's one thing I like to do with not only my business, but the overall economy. You look at a SWOT analysis, right? What's our strengths? What's our weaknesses? What's our opportunities and threats? I look at potentially stuff happening in the commercial sector because of the Amazon effect, the largest, the big, company that it's become, the big gorilla that it's become. Amazon is so huge. So a lot of the online internet-driven companies, they're centralizing warehouses. They're not using it. They're pulling a lot of commercial space. So then when you look at these strip malls, you've got Publix in there. You've got some Targets, hopefully for a little while longer. Who knows how long Target can hang on versus the Walmarts. And so I think about that effect. That's one thing I think about sometimes is how's the commercial game going to play out, and then will that and how does that affect the residential market?
Well, let's go a step further in that analysis. Okay,
yep.
So instead of looking at the big stores on the strip malls,
yep.
Well, where do they get their product from? They get their product from commercial warehouses. Mm-hmm. So if there is a short supply of commercial warehousing, that means they're getting orders in. So if they're getting orders in, they need more space.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at, in my opinion, you look at warehousing, and if the market for warehousing commercial space is plentiful, you got a problem because people aren't ordering enough product to stock those stores. They're not anticipating that many sales.
Right.
So if you look a little bit further, another layer deeper, I think that's a better indication how people are viewing the economy in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It is a very complex puzzle piece that you try to piece together and you look at it. But what we do know, what we all agree on right now is a great opportunity.
Jump on it.
Invest in real estate, buy real estate, rent out real estate. You know, instead of buying, if I was a new guy coming out or gal coming out of school, I wouldn't buy a single family home. I'd buy a quadplex. I would live in one side. And yeah, you know, it's not the ideal situation. You don't want to live next to your tenant but you know, hey, you do it for 2 or 3 years. You suck it up. You build some equity. Now you hang on to that as a cash cow. You got $30,000 banked. You go buy a $300,000 nice single family home somewhere. You know, those are the ideas and the strategies that we want to plant to our listeners and our viewers here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So stay with us. When we come back, more from our expert contributors. We got our lightning round coming up. Scott Kepler's in the house, Mortgage Approval Group, Chris Colbassini, Keller Williams Real Estate Platinum MVP team, and attorney Frank Charles Miranda here in studio. And our feel-good story of the day is a great one. Businessman is donating 10,000 bikes to kids who walk miles to school. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
The Consumer Quarterback.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Check out PlatinumMVPteam.com. This segment is brought to you by WholeBodyFuel.com, the official meal delivery service of the Consumer Quarterback Show. WholeBodyFuel.com. Chef prepared. Chef Brian Adamo and his team, Kevin, and the whole team do a great job. Convenient food, healthy food, delivered directly to your home or office. And I love it. Every week I get my order, it's delivered, and then I carry it with me to and from my commute or my appointments, and I am able to eat healthy on the go in many cases. They've got the world-famous protein donuts as well, and check out WholeBodyFuel.com. Let them know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on their special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And I want to mention again, on Save the Date, Thursday, June 27th, 6 p.m., we've got Tampa Bay's largest speed networking event coming up just a couple of weeks away at the Verizon Center in Largo. It's going to be a great time networking. Excellent award-winning catered food from Amici's Catered Cuisine. We're going to have a DJ. We got bartenders. We got a raffle going on. We're raising money for Children's Cancer Center. And come on out and meet all of the attendees. How many networking opportunities have you been to where you're able to meet every single person at the party? Well, you're going to meet them here at Tampa Bay's largest speed networking event. Check it out online at the Eventbrite page. Check out eventbrite.com and just search up the Tampa Bay's largest speed networking event. And we'll see you there. So every day we're going to tell you something positive here in our Feel Good segment. And today we have a good one.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this is about the businessman that is donating 10,000 bikes to kids who walk miles to school. So a businessman in Marymar has bought 10,000 bikes from a bike-sharing companies and is donating them to underprivileged children across the country who walk miles to school. Entrepreneur Mike Don Troon Win, he's a founder of FireMile.com, chief executive with BOD Tech, created a nonprofit organization called Less Walk, which is buying up the bikes and making them suitable for students. Quote, it's a common sight to see lines and lines of students walking long distances from home to school in rural villages, Dan told TechCrunch. Some students can walk up to 1 hour from home to school, and then the families can hardly afford a simple form of transportation like a bicycle or motorcycle. A school bus is almost unheard of for students in rural villages. Dan was able to purchase the bikes at $40 per bike, costing a total of $400,000. Half of the money from the project has been funded through donations to Less Walk. Dan pays the rest by himself. Suddenly, there was an opportunity to buy these bikes at a fraction of the price. The benefit it can develop in a well was worth the cost. So, shout out to the businessman there in Marymar. And pretty cool story. Good stuff. I love our Feel Good segments there. All right, let's jump into our lightning round here.
The lightning round.
I am so good at lightning rounds.
I majored in lightning round.
All right, here we go. Top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Scott Kepler, Mortgage Approval Group.
Parting words of wisdom would be out to the homeowners, like I said, that if we're out there purchasing homes in the last 2 to 5 years or even further out, now is the time to take a look at your mortgage, take a look at your financial situation while interest rates are low, and you can take advantage of it. If you're thinking about upgrading, like Frank was talking about, now would be a great time for that too, because you can buy a lot more house that lower interest rate. And then of course out to the renters, that applies to them as well. That difference in interest rate could bump you up another $10,000 to $20,000 in your purchase budget.
That's right.
And still keep you at the same payment. So give our office a call at 813-444-8537, and either myself or somebody on my team would love to help you out.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Closer to work, closer to the beach, move up, move down. So many ways that people can make that move and take advantage. It's a great time. Chris Colbassini, Keller Williams Real Estate.
Yeah, as I said, the real estate market in Tampa Bay is really hot right now, so there's lots of good deals out there, as you know, and so reach out to any of us here at the Platinum MVP team. We'd love to help you.
Yeah.
If you're renting, now's a good time to jump into buying. It's a no-brainer.
Yep.
We got lots of properties. We got lots of properties for sale. We have lots of properties on. Lots of listings with our team.
Yep.
So feel free to reach out to us, PlatinumMVPteam.com.
Yeah.
And we'd be glad to help you. We're here for you, whatever you need.
Awesome. Good stuff. Attorney Frank Miranda.
Yeah, one topic we discussed today was the possibility of an investment property, whether it's going to be a rental kind of unit, and just make sure wherever you buy it approves those types of uses for the property. Otherwise, you could be buying a lawsuit. And so make sure you have professionals on your side before you make the purchase and pull the trigger, and make sure the person writes a contract in a fashion where you can get out of it if you can't use the property for what you're intending the use for. So writing the contract up, even though a lot of it's pre-printed, I always say the most important part is what you handwrite and what you want to detail that contract to be to afford you the opportunity and the protections that you're looking for.
Yeah, I like that. So Frank's saying he's reflecting into that purchase and sale contract. There's a place in the back of the contract, last page.
Additional terms.
Additional terms. So fill that in with the additional terms that you want in order for this to be the right deal for you.
Absolutely.
Fill it out, and then that way it's in writing. It's on the contract. Buyers and sellers agreed, and they made a contract.
No
Good
question.
point. I like that. That's good stuff. Okay, so as you know, I teach negotiation at GTAR and branding and negotiation. One of my favorite topics is negotiation, and I've got a good one for you here. So be careful when you're negotiating. Be careful how you use the F word, okay? So the fair word, that is, F-A-I-R, okay? So a great story here from one of my favorite books. Chris Voss wrote a book called Negotiating as If Your Life Depended on It, Never Split the Difference. All right, so Robin Williams. We all remember Robin Williams, the beloved character of Miss Doubtfire, all these different great stories that he played. Now, he took the blockbuster movie was Aladdin. Okay, remember that Aladdin? He did the movie at a cut rate fee of $75,000. He did it because he wanted his family to have a legacy for his children. He wanted to be a part of that Disney experience for their kids. Now, after the movie became a blockbuster and made $504 million, Robin Williams and his agent went loud and long to the media about how they got ripped off. They got ripped off only $75,000. Why? Because of the perception of fairness, right? So it's fairness. What happened is they went loud and long to the media. Disney ended up sending him a $1 million Pablo Picasso painting to keep their actor, their star, happy. But when it comes to negotiation, you got to be real careful about how you position the F word and how you utilize that word, because you can really offset your opponent to a point, or your counterpart rather, to a point where it's going to make it hard to negotiate with them if you use the fair word in the wrong context. So be careful about how you position the F word in your negotiations. All right, well, let's do another round here. Top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Scott Kepler.
I think the other big follow up is talking about how hot the market's been. It's been a topic of conversation today, and that means that there's some great properties that are out there available. And if you're looking to make that move up, or you're looking to buy your first home, now would be a great time to do it. Even if you think you're 6 to 12 months out and now's not the right time to jump into it because you don't want to rush into it, reach out to us and let's formulate a plan. And see what we can do to help you accomplish your goal when the time is right, based on what you have in your goals.
Yeah, I like that. And Chris, when it comes to pre-approval, how important it is for that buyer to have that pre-approval when they start the process.
Oh, absolutely, because you don't want to be looking at properties you can't afford.
Yes.
So we always require pre-approval from your lender, because you're just wasting time just looking at houses you can't afford. So you want to make sure you're pre-approved for that. And then we can set you up with a great group of houses to look at.
That's right.
And Tampa Bay is very hot, like I said. You're not far from any of the beaches or anything. So give us a call here at the Platinum MVP team. We'd love to help you out, and we're here for you.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, Frank Miranda.
I tell you what, though, Chris, I love that show, Property Brothers, when they show everything on the buyer's wish list, and they show the property. This is perfect. And they go, it's only $600,000 more than you can afford. Right. So that kind of brings down expectations. So when you get that first time home buyer that wants everything under the sun and modeled and ready turnkey, it kind of puts them back in perspective.
Absolutely.
I cringe when I see those shows.
My nugget of advice is this: when you go to close on the piece of property, although that's probably the most overlooked aspect of the whole transaction, it's the most important, because if someone misses something and you get a knock on your door, you get a letter that there's a mortgage that wasn't paid off and they're going to foreclose on your house, you have a real problem. And so rather than go to any ABC title company, I think it's important to go to somebody that has accountability, someone that holds, quite honestly, malpractice insurance, and somebody that knows how to fix problems. And so we pride ourselves on fixing those problems for people. And if you have any problems, feel free to call us. Our number is 813-254-2637. And my email address is frank@fcmlaw.com. I'll be happy to get back to you with any questions you have regarding probably one of your biggest investments.
Yep, that's all right. Good stuff. Hey, Scott Kepler, thanks so much. Chris Colbassini, Frank Miranda, great show today, great content. Thanks to our listeners, our viewers, our producers out there, everybody behind the scenes making this show happen. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing, carry it with you to and from your commute, hand it to that person that you see in need, be a force for good in the community. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, and the Consumer Quarterback Show page is out there as well on Facebook. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.